Yeah, welcome back to the Firehouse for some more Firehouse reasoning from the 9th level. Tonight I'm going to be reasoning about the what I would call this one. On the way to the 9th level, or to understanding oneself, we have to acquire a lot of qualities. We have to acquire the qualities of fearlessness, honesty, truthfulness, humbleness. But all these are the qualities, like I say, we have to acquire them. But this one now, we don't have to actually acquire this one. We start with this one. The greatest of all these qualities that we're going to discuss here in the Firehouse tonight. And yet no one pay attention to this one really. This one is called common sense. Yeah. Now we all start with common sense, but for some reason or the other, few people want to employ common sense. You see what I mean? When actually, common sense is the teacher of all. You know what I mean? Yet, most people ignore their common sense. I don't know, maybe they like to pursue the higher senses as it was, you know? Magic and I don't know what it is these higher senses produce, but few take any notice of common sense. You see what I mean? But ain't no way of reaching anywhere on this journey within oneself unless one is one has actually fallen in love then, as it was, with common sense. Imagine common sense was a woman. In fact, I think common sense is a woman, I say. And her husband must be Mr. Humbleness. But you have to find common sense first before you can discover Mr. Humbleness, as it was. So common sense is a woman, a beautiful woman then, as it was. But a woman that most ignore. You see what I mean? And refuse to imply. But actually, common sense is actually the teacher. That's why when common sense, it's none of in Firehouse, we don't really, you'll hear me sometimes saying like the owl master, you know? Because the owl is a master that see everything, or the fire general, or the fire lion, and all these other. But actually now, common sense, because these other characters can speak in ways that people don't understand, as it was. If you know what I mean. These are the high senses. But common sense now have a way of speaking so that everyone can understand. Because he's with everyone already, isn't it? Common sense. So if you explain things to people in a common sense kind of way, then they can understand. So instead of say common sense as an example, saying to people, if you do this and this, you will open your chakras or your third eye or whatever it was, you know what I mean? Common sense go about a simple way where everyone can understand. Let them know that there's a difference between right and wrong. And then if you are doing wrong, this is what stops your eyes from opening. So you don't have to make anything complicated because, well, common sense don't anyway. Because everything is simple in it. So in other words, if you behave right, whatever it is that they're talking about, opening chakras and third eye or whatever, that happen automatically, following the ways of common sense. Instead of sitting meditating and all these kind of business, if you follow the way of common sense of just doing what is natural, just living right, the mind arrives automatically at a meditative state where it stays all the time, constantly, without having to be striving for it. You know what I mean? Or being it momentarily then. The common sense way, if you follow the common sense way, you arrive at everything without knowing how you arrive there. If you know what I mean. So common sense deal with things in a simple way where everyone can understand. You see what I mean? The reason why we don't understand is because life is a choice. Positive and negative. If you choose to be negative, which you know what negative is, doing what you know yourself is wrong, because whatever you're doing that is wrong, you will know. But whenever you are behaving like that, you cannot know what is right under the laws of common sense. If you know what. It's as simple as that. There is no other reason why you can't understand, apart from the fact that you are acting in the wrong way. If you act in the correct way, the truth is revealed to you. You meet common sense. Understand? But if you don't act in the correct way, which common sense is always telling you how to act, you know? Well, it's not telling you, it's advising you. Or you've got it then. So you know what to do, but you don't do it. So if common sense was a tool then, as it was, it's a tool that you refuse to employ. But ain't no way of building a house, or this house that I'm telling you about anyway, without employing common sense. No matter what other sense you want to employ, scientific sense or engineering sense or, you know, none of those houses can stand unless the house is actually constructed by Mr. Common Sense. As it was, you know what I mean? It's funny today, I think, I'm sure I was talking to somebody and they was mentioning scientists. You know what I was trying to explain to them, you know, that scientific work is just a work, it's not a person. You know, some people believe that they are scientists. You're not scientists, you might do some scientific work. But who are you that call yourself a scientist? That's a different thing. That, you know what I mean? Common sense reveal all these things to you. You see what I mean? Like you watch programs on television and see men coming and introducing themselves as professor this, that and that. That is the job that they do. They tell you nothing about themselves because they know nothing about themselves. Because ain't no way of knowing anything about yourself unless you are, like I'm saying, implying common sense. And you will encounter, like I say, common sense in its fullness at the 9th level. You see, because at certain levels of life, as an example then, in what we would call the physical level here that we are dwelling in, where we can observe each other's outward form, people are separated up into different groups and categories, i.e. blacks and white and Asians and Japanese and Chinese and all these kind of things. That's what is happening on this level. But in the 9th level, where common sense run things, everything is one. There is none of this Jews and Arabs and, you know what I mean, difference. You see what I mean? Because in the 9th level, we remove the outward form of the human being. Like I tell you, just like how you would take your clothes off, and then when you take your clothes off, you would be just naked, innit? So when we remove the physical form of beings, all that left there is the spirit that is dwelling in the form. And the spirit have no color, you know. The spirit is not physical, it's non-physical within all the different bodies. You see what I mean? But on this level it causes great confusion because everyone think that they are different, don't they? Why? Because you are not operating common sense. Because if it was common sense, it will show you that everything is one. Oneness in diversity. You see what I mean? But you ain't going to see it either, like I say, if you don't do what common sense tell you in the first place on the low level here of doing what is right and living by what is right. You see, because common sense is the teacher, innit? There's no being without common sense. So there's no being who common sense is not constantly showing the right way. They just choose not to follow the teaching of common sense then, as it was. You see what I mean? But if one was following the teachings of common sense, like I'm telling you, oh yes, you will soon discover the spirit of fearlessness. You know? And like I say, the owl, the one who sees in the dark, you discover all these other qualities. Because common sense teach them all, you know what I mean? The simple one, common sense, you know what I mean? Maybe that's why no one take no notice of common sense. You see, because common sense is too simple and don't make anything complicated, you know what I mean? Because if it's the truth then, like when common sense speak the truth, it have to be in a simple way where everyone can understand it. Young, old, you know, as I reach a certain age. I say from 7, 8, 9-year-old should be able to understand the truth when common sense speak it, because by that time they should have developed common sense should be already running in them. So anyone who common sense is already running in, when common sense speak, they must understand, because common sense is going to speak in a way that they can relate to. Because there will be no complicated speaking going on that a human being cannot understand. You see what I mean? Because common sense don't make things complicated. It is not as clever as those other high senses. You know, you have some learned senses. Common sense is not one of the learned senses. It's a natural sense, if you know what I mean. It's not a learned, you know. The scientific sense and those are the great sense and engineering sense and I don't know, visionary sense or whatever sense. I have to go and learn and study them, you know what I mean? But we don't have to learn and study common sense because that is already with us. You see what I mean? So all we have to do then is to use it. But for some reason, like I say, most seems to ignore common sense and would rather go for the, I don't know, some fancy senses, I would say. You know what I mean? And when you're not using your common sense, like I'm telling you now, anyone, because this is a world like this, you have illusion, only illusion, because those who have chosen the wrong way make it appear to be an illusionary world with their illusionary behavior. So yes, if you are not implying common sense, these people will deceive you. You know what I mean? Get you to believe in God and, you know, and to ignore your own common sense. Because when they tell you whatever story is that they are telling you, your common sense will tell you that such a thing is not possible. You know what I mean? But for some reason now, you let them convince you that no. Even though your common sense says it's not possible, you should have faith. You know? And you never spend time to notice that faith can be blind as well. So you allow them to sell your blind faith, so that you end up being a believer rather than a knower. Following the ways of common sense, you would have been a knower, because common sense would have teach you what is. You know what I mean? Common sense ain't looking to gain anything out of anyone, you know, because it's already with everyone. So the teaching of common sense is not to gain anything. It wouldn't make any sense, would it? Because like I'm saying, common sense is with everyone. So common sense ain't selling anything. It's giving you something, if you know what I mean. So it's up to you to listen to what your common sense is. You know. Because common sense, like I tell you, is a brethren that is or a sister, you know? A sister that is everywhere, in everyone, working. You know what I mean? Just like I'm telling you, religion is an in and an out. The outward part of religion is separation and division, just like how the outward part of man, physical being, is separation as well. But the inward part of religion is one. You see, there is no division, one within. Separation is outside. You see what I mean? So what is outside is not the real. So it should be clear then to see that as an example then, like I'm saying with religion, that the outward form of it is wrong, innit? They're always squabbling with each other, even though they claim to worship the same God. You know, anyone who knows themselves inwardly or the inward way would never have that kind of squabble. You see what I mean? Because they would have seen the oneness of things. But you can't see it if you are outside. And you can only be outside if you are not using your common sense. You see what I mean? Because common sense would never allow you or allow others to trap you in those kind of outside idiocy. You see what I mean? Follow the ways of common sense and you will be going straight through. Because if you was following common sense, then you know that you would have to be honest and truthful. You know what I mean? Your intention would have to be clean. You see what I mean? Because don't forget, you know, we are in the mind. That's where we are, you know, where duality is. Let us say we are sealed within the mind then. Sealer. Within the mind. That's where beings are, within the mind. But we can emerge from the mind then, or if you don't want to call it emerge, we can rise in the mind. Now on the base level of the mind, where all human beings are, this is where I'm saying you can be genius, whatever you want to be, on this base level here. But ain't no way now of we say, as an example, going to the second level of the mind until the spirit agrees that what it's doing down on this base level here is not right and correct, and the way that it's behaving is not truthful and honest. You see what I mean? Unless that enter the spirit, it dies at this level, totally blind and ignorant. If it agrees with itself then that its behavior is not truthful and honest, and it's going to change these behavior, a door opens then, call it a door, or a seal open, and it arrives at the second level, where it can now see and understand the difference between the base level and the second level. You know what I mean? As I said, its eyes open up a bit, and from there it can progress due to the determination or whatever it's having it. You see what I mean? But if that doesn't happen at the base level, where one day the soul decide that this base level behavior that it's behaving in is not right and correct, and that it must make correction, because no one else can't do it, you know. A preacher man can't do it for you, your mother can't do it, your father, no being can do it for you. But when you, the spirit yourself, decide that the behavior that you are going on with is not right and correct, and that you are going to change it, that's the only thing. It's the only way that can release you from this level. You see what I mean? Otherwise, you're going to stay on this level, living the life of what I say, black and white, and you know, only for racism, all kind of idiocy, and we're like I say, we live in, because we are in the mind in duality. You can either be living in the base level, or the animalistic, or the spiritualistic. So you'll be more or less living in the animalistic. Not more or less, you will be, because you're on the base level until this spur or this energy or this desire come in you to make this change. You stay sealed. See what I mean? Like I say, if you could look at the mind as maybe like a high-rise flat, or a thing with a series of doors that you have to get through them, and it's guarded by honesty, and the only way you can enter is when your heart is pure and clean. Really, you can go through. So there is like a narrow way through the mind then. Don't forget the mind is vast, you know. So many souls have gone off down into different regions, studying different things down there. Maybe they after magic and the black arts or the white arts or all kind of different, whatever it is they're studying, you know. Beings have different desires. See what I mean? Hopes and wishes and wants. So maybe some of them have gone off into different regions of the mind. Who knows? But I am not interested in any regions within the mind. Just the narrow way through. You see what I mean? Passing through. And it's only common sense that can guide you through. You see what I mean? Because we're passing through the mind. This is how you're going to arrive at Firehouse, because Firehouse is not within the mind. You see what I mean? Like I say, Firehouse is equivalent to where the sun is, where light comes from to enter the mind. The mind is the equivalent to the moon, because the moon represents duality. You see what I mean? So Firehouse is beyond the regions of the mind, where there is no duality. You see the play? Over there is oneness. Over here is male and female, yin and yang. You see what I mean? Night and day and all this kind of thing. But in Firehouse, none of that is going on. The eternal fire itself, you know, the light up, the terrible and dreadful God itself. Or if you want to call him himself, or what is. You see what I mean? But it's only common sense alone teach you this thing, you know. This is what I'm saying. This is not a study. Where one has gone now as an example, studying with some master, whether here, there, or anywhere, you know, or reading any great amount of books or literature and you know, all these kind of different business. Common sense don't teach anyone anything, you know. You don't have to do nothing like that. to learn what is right and correct under the laws of common sense. All you have to do is just use your common sense in the situation that is going to confront you in life as it was then. That's all. Trust in your common sense and use your common sense by doing what is right and living by what is right, innit? Because that's what common sense deal with. You see what I mean? And when you do that now, common sense have a way of revealing all things. Yeah, because as I says, common sense will lead you right up there to the 9th level. Like it's like say passing through the mind then, you know. You go right up there to the 9th levels. From there you can see where light is coming from. Because the one is going to return. Once the one return, you know the one. You see, because that's where common sense lead you to the one. Once you know the one now, you just teach about the one, innit? As an example. Why would you want to teach about or keep saying what the Buddha say and what the Buddha never say and all this kind of thing and all this kind of thing? You just teach what common sense lead you to. What common sense teach you, you know? So you don't have to talk, and what common sense teach you was never about a next man or a next woman. You know what I mean? It simply just show you what is right and correct and truthful and honest. You know? So that's all we have to teach about. Nothing else. You know what I mean? It's not that's what I'm saying. Common sense ain't dealing with anything that I feel is complicated and beyond understanding for any being, whether the being is educated or the being is not educated. Because common sense is with those who are educated and those who are not educated. Because it's got nothing to do with one level of education as it was then, if you know what I mean. Well, if man was judging man by education alone, I would be a complete idiot anyway. I rate myself as one of the most stupidest where education is concerned. You know what I mean? But I have a bit of common sense. That's all. Swear to God there is nothing else apart. I am operating off nothing else than common sense. It can't be any one of the other great senses because I haven't got you know, I haven't got them to operate. I am one of the dumbest of beings. But it just goes to show you that it doesn't matter to common sense whether you are some clever being. Common sense is with you. Or whether you are some dumb being. Like myself here now. I'm a dumb being. But it's all irrelevant to common sense. You can still learn common sense while you are dumb in all other things anyway. If you know what I mean. Because common sense don't teach anything about magic. As an example. Common sense don't teach anything about seer. Common sense don't teach anything about I would say material richness or even spiritual richness. You know what I mean? It just teach common sense in it. Simple, you know. There's a choice between wrong and right. Do what's right. That's all common sense teach, you know. Nothing else. And then from that now, if you follow what common sense teach you, well you just learn in it. Like I would say, common sense don't teach you to wake anyone up from the dead. Because common sense is a man who say, man, watch a man. When a man, you see when dead come for a man and him dead. If him wake up, him never dead. But trust me, when him dead, him dead. Common sense don't teach you anything about magic and all these kind of things. But what common sense teach you? Have the power to wake up man from the dead. If you know what I mean. And the words of common sense as well have the magic in it to let man see in the future. And yet common sense don't teach any of these things like I'm telling you. It just simply teach how one should act then. Not as I'm saying that anyone is taking much notice of their common sense, you know. Because like I'm saying, we are busy looking through these eyes out in the world and we see a lot of things out there that we want and desire. And you see others with things and maybe you wish you had these things and things. So in the rush of all these things that is going on around us now, I don't feel that most people have time to imply common sense in such situation then. You see what I mean? And if you don't, you are going to I'm saying you're going to just live a life in ignorance. Or, well, it must be ignorance, you know. Coming back to our portrayal of the mind now. You will stay in the base level of the mind. Where the beings in the base level of the mind, like I'm saying. Well, these are dead beings anyway, still, mentally. Because they have yet decided that they are going to change these behavior. So down at this level of the mind now is where you find the crew, this farm, you know. These are what are causing the war and the racism and the hate and the loss and the love for money and, you know. These are those who are on this level of the mind, I'm saying. And there ain't no way of getting out of that level. Because like I'm telling you, the mind is sealed. There ain't no way of getting out of there. Because it's law, and everything is governed by law. You see what I mean? It's like a law. Ain't no way of any being emerging from this state until the being itself recognize that its behavior is not right and change the behavior. Such desires and intention release the mind, not the mind, release you from this state of mind to a higher state of mind where you can now at least observe your own ignorance when you was in this state of mind as it was then. It's going to take you out of this game. You know when people are playing a game, they cannot see the real game still, but when they are out of it, they are able to observe it. But most are on this level. This is the level, like I tell you, where division, hatred, and race and all this kind of thing, Because people still live like that. Like I say, Earth is organized on race. Different race, Because that's the crudest part of the mind. The people who are who have organized life like that are not mentally developed. Backward. Well, nevertheless, they dress up in suits and tie and they go to their great brainwashing factory and speak well as God to them and eloquently. You know what I mean? So, because they don't imply common sense, they overrule common sense with eloquent speech, as they would claim, and eloquent dressing. You know what I mean? Well, in the eyes of common sense, they're eloquent. They're just, well, mentally dead anyway. And the first level of the mind, those who will not develop, those whose eyes will never open to true understanding, Those who will only ever be able to view life from one side, the negative side. You see what I mean? And it is not the negative itself that is keeping them on that side. It's their own choice. Because don't forget, you can change at any given time. From that basement, from that prison that you are there in the mind, on the first level, you can get released at any time. There is no one holding you there apart from your own actions. You don't see the play. So anytime that you decide that you are going to change your actions, that's you getting released from that dimension of the mind. But no being who has ever come out a woman, ever get released from the first level of the mind without changing their ways. Because it's a law, innit? I don't know, God love law, innit? I love law as well. Yeah, man. So it's like a law. You see what I mean? Now once you do it, like I'm saying, then you are free to traverse through the mind, to rise within the mind, and to eventually see and understand and know who and what God is, if you know what I mean. But you have to start off with common sense. Common sense, I say, lead you to like I say, you have to be born again. In Firehouse, it's like a special birth. You know what I mean? The birth that we aim for in Firehouse now is that collectively, as beings, we are all sperms. You see what I mean? And in this life that we are living, we are supposed to be heading for a new birth, if you know what I mean. But like I'm saying, most people ignore this pursuit anyway, because like you can see now, there's a lot of diversion in life. So rather than the sperm struggle then to produce this new birth, because what is going to produce this new birth now on the spiritual level is the desire for what is right and correct and truthful, what we call truth. You see what I mean? Now this desire, like I'm telling you, is like a sperm. Once it hit the egg, it find the egg now. Boom. Yeah? Once it find the egg now, no other sperm can enter. You see what I mean? Boom, the baby is produced. You have a 9th level baby. You see what I mean? You can't have 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 level baby at one time. You can only have one of them. And only common sense can lead you there. You see what I mean? Now when you are a 9th level baby, like I'm telling you, this is where you encounter the terrible and dreadful one himself. Because you are the 9, the one must return. You see what I mean? So the 9th level baby is always the one who comprehends the one. You see what I mean? To the fullest. And then impart the teaching through common sense then. You know what I mean? Through some simple, not any difficult way then, if you know what I mean. Just through like honesty. Because you know that honesty is a way then that the whole of humanity know what honesty is, innit? They wouldn't have to go and study it. You know? It wouldn't like say something like if I tell them it was Rasta, I say, oh, we'll have to study and find out what that is, or Islam, or Christianity, or Buddhism, they have to study. You don't have to study to find out what honesty is. All you have to do is to live honest, because you know what it implies being honest, don't you? And that's what true religion is. To be honest to oneself. True being honest to oneself, one end up being honest to all. So that is true religion. Now that can be done by anyone, innit? You see what I mean? So there is no restriction on what is right and correct. That one common sense show it to you anyway. You know what I mean? So all can do this. You see what I mean? Now, if common sense is not your teacher, like I'm saying, then you have to be a believer or a non-believer. Now, a believer don't know. So those who don't know now, as gone to common sense now, because they don't know now, they usually, this is the outside religious people, you know, imply what I call a front man, be it Muhammad, Jesus, Selassie, the Buddha, Confucius, whatever, and then tell the people them that this man was enlightened or sent by God, and that the words that he speak is God's word, and they should follow this word. That's what they believe, you know. But if they know God, they wouldn't be telling anybody anything like that, because that's just stupidity, innit? They would tell people that, listen, you know the wrongs that you're doing, that's what's blinding you. Cease from doing the wrong that you're doing if you want to know what is right. You know what I mean? If you tell a man any other thing else apart from that, you're just telling the man pure fuckery and bullshit. You know, you can't go telling him about Moses and what Moses did and Jesus a walk on water and all them kind of. That's got nothing to do with what is right and correct. Or is going to help to open the eyes of any soul. First, you have to explain to them what is making them ignorant, their own behavior and action. And then tell them, explain to them, because they will understand it. It's all common sense that when they stop this behavior, that is what is going to open the eye. Nothing else. You know? No prayer, praying to God or saint or anything. No, that won't work. That can't work. Action. That's the only thing that works. When you take action. Excuse me. Action is what works. Well, the common sense way, if you know what I mean. Common sense teach a more, like I say, a more simpler thing. Nothing elaborate about praying to God and, you know. Cause what is the point of praying to God anyway? If you are doing something wrong and you know it's wrong, you just stop it, innit? You pray to God to forgive you or whatever, you know. You want forgiveness for the wrongs that you are doing, just stop doing the wrongs that you're doing. And then after you stop doing the wrongs that you're doing, don't worry about it, because all human being has done wrong. We are not perfect. We've all sinned. But life is not about whether we all sin, it's whether we're going to get the desire to make a change. Because without making the change, you ain't going to understand what is right and what is correct and what is truthful. You see what I mean? You will be living, like I'm telling you, on the base level here, where men are seen as black and white and all this kind of idiocy. When you come to Firehouse, or when you arrive at the 9th level, when you're born again, up there, all you see is spirit. You see what I mean? Because the body is just like I'm saying, the body is contained in the spirit. It's not the spirit. But on that level down here, they wouldn't know that. You see what I mean? They think the body is the person. So if you're black skin, you know them hate you or them, I say them prejudice against you and all them kind of thing. You know what I mean? But that's a natural behavior as well, because the mind is not developing it. That's the crudest level of the mind. So nothing, you can't expect anything better than that. Well, I can't anyway still. You know what I mean? I don't, I'm not going to hate anyone because they're behaving like that. You know, they have you cannot see them. You know what I mean? So from you cannot see what you are doing, it's likely that you can do anything, and anything can go on that crude level of the mind, like I'm saying, because on that level of the mind, no light is entering. You see what I mean? You have to reach at least the second level before light start to seep in, or the third level. But at that basic level there, that crude level there, no light ain't coming in. Yeah, you all have commercial success like you claim it in business and all this kind of things. Because the ignorant are good at things like that. But mentally, there will be no development or growth for a soul like that, like I'm saying. I'm not saying, you know, don't forget, you know, on that level, like I'm saying, you know, you can have lots of distinction, you know. You can earn the Purple Heart and become a Sir and a Dutch and all these kind of things, and you know what I mean? Give him the OB and Order of Merit and Purple Heart and all kind of something you can earn, you know. And that crude level there. All that man can give you a lot of distinction and award, but that won't make you anything either. Wouldn't mean that you have developed any sense. But for some reason as well, these been given all this idiotic distinction, puff up these egoistic souls' chests on that level, that they actually love it and think to themselves that they have achieved something. And souls who are as stupid as them write books about them and say, yeah, they was great men. Well, you know. Yeah, while we're on this subject of people that you meet in Firehouse, you know, like the Fire Lion and Common Sense and all this, you also meet funny. That's why you always find me laughing. Because funny like to laugh at everything. You know what I'm saying? Just find the whole thing strange and funny, you know. So life is a funny thing anyway. Like to just laugh at it, you know. So funny, find it funny now. These people feel puffed up in themselves when them have what them call them distinction and, you know, them bachelor of art degree and all some kind of thing, you know. Yeah. All it does now, these kind of thing, you know, it teach people now to separate more from each other. Because see all me here now, see I don't got no education, see me? So say as a woman, as an example then, who have her bachelor of art degree, well, she ain't going to mingle with the likes of me, is it? Who she would have seen as I haven't got her educational capacity then, as it was. You know what I mean? Far above, she wouldn't see herself as far too intelligent then. For a common sense master. You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying when people acquire these other sense. Yeah, it allows them to hold what I would call a little more cushier position within the system then. Or within the matrix of the mind then. You know what I mean? But it's just another prison for the soul. But they still can't see this. You know? Because their desires still are still grounded, like I'm saying, on this base level here. We're on this base level is, you know, who have the best house and car and money and champagne and holiday and sex and this kind of, you know. So they can't see that there is anything else in life apart from that. Or that if there's any consequences to the way that they are behaving here. You know what I mean? When if you use your common sense, you can see clearly, like I'm saying, that there is consequences to action. You know what I mean? And that we are, because the body and the spirit is two different things. That is actually coming to the body, not the spirit. You see what I mean? But the spirit is responsible. You see what I mean? For what take place when it was in the body. So the spirit will have to pay for what it's done. And the evidence of what the spirit is done is on its memory. You see what I mean? It can't get away with anything. You're going to wish, like I say, you could die, but you can't die in it. So you have to pay. But of course, I don't know, like I'm saying, you know, if people had explained it to people in a nice, simple, common sense way before, like how the 9th grade baby would. You know what I mean? To let them know clearly how this thing works. You know, it's like getting right into the nitty-gritty of things, I say. To explain to people that, listen, you have a spirit, you have physical form, yeah, as a body. And then you have that, what you call the air or the atmosphere. That represent the spiritual. So within us, we are a spiritual being living in a physical form. If you know what I mean. No, because the physical form is a changing thing. Because whatever is physical is subject to change. Whatever is subject to change must die. So eventually the body will die. But the spirit within is not subject to the changes that is going on within the body. It's a constant. You see what I mean? So when death arrives to the body, it doesn't affect the spirit. You see what I mean? An eternal thing. That is not anything to believe, you know. That is what you know when you listen to your common sense and follow it and live by it, you know what I mean? It shows you these things so that you know these things. You see what I mean? So under those laws, like what I've just explained here now, you don't really have to worry about what anyone on the planet is doing. Anyone at all. Because no one is above the law. If you know what I mean. Absolutely no one is above the law. Yeah, no, and don't forget, you know, on this base level down here, going back to that level as well. I know that you president and crime ministers and army general and, you know, that you have a few deluded human beings who are protecting you while you are carrying out whatever you are carrying out on the planet, and you feel important and you get lauded and knighted. Yeah, I know all that is going on. Yeah, but what I'm saying, that is not above the law. We're not dealing here now with your little puny laws. You see what I mean now? We're dealing with the real law as it was then. From the 9th house, from 9th level, firehouse. The real law is saying that no matter who you are, you could be king or queen. Because you know, you see, it's all that is irrelevant to death, isn't it? The common sense thing death. It's coming for everyone, just like how common sense is with everyone. Whether you are king or queen or papa. You see? So whether you are king or queen or papa, death will come for you. And the law don't care whether you claim that you was a king or a papa or whatever. It just care about the action that is contained in thy memory, of course. You see what I mean? And you must face thy judgment, you know. All beings have to. No escaping. Ain't no being on this planet that can hide from themselves. Of course I don't know who the self is. You see what I mean? That they are living under the light of the, like I said, the terrible and dreadful God himself, Rastafari, you know. Mysterious one. So mysterious, like I say, that no one hide from that one. You see what I mean? It's like, funnily enough, whether you understand this reasoning or not. The being, yeah, that could out-reason a ninth house general, or a ninth house baby, or a ninth house old master, can never be born. That means he wasn't born in the future, in the past, and he cannot be born in the future either. Because you can never out-reason the ninth house general. You see what I mean? Because to do it, you'd have to out-reason yourself. And there is no way that any being who has ever lived can out-reason themselves. Common sense teacher, this one. You see what I mean? So because we are representation then of common sense and all this kind of thing I'm saying, you know. I am a soul that no being can out-reason. To out-reason me, you'd have to be able to out-reason yourself. And you can't do it. You see what I mean? Because in the ninth house, the one has returned. You see? All I have to do is to reflect the will of that one, you know? The light of that one. No soul anywhere in creation can stand against that light. You see what I mean? Can absorb that light, never stand against that light, you know? Whether you are in groups of billions or trillions, are irrelevant to a general. You see what I mean? Because this is the lights of light. Yeah, but you're not going to see this like I'm telling you, you know. Those who are confined within the mind is not going to see this. Because you have to break out of the mind to see it. Like when we're here now in the physical world, we could see it. In the above in the sky, that there's the moon there receiving light from the sun and reflecting it out back onto the earth. We can see all that, but you cannot see display within the mind, is it? But it's the same thing. But when you change your behavior now and you rise in the mind, you will break out of the mind. You will be able to see, if you reach the ninth level, where light come from to enter the mind. But under the rules and regulation and laws, rules, regulation and laws, yeah, the light don't automatically enter the mind. Because you have to clean up first, if you know what I mean. Like we say, clean water will not enter a dirty glass. Same kind of business with the mind. The light of the one will not enter a dirty mind and settle. So, one have to clean up one mind first. Hence the fact that I tell you that on that crude level of existence, one have to come to the decision that such behaviors are not right, whatever the behavior is, isn't it? Each individual will know what their negativity is and put a stop to it. When this is done, then, like we say, the light can start to enter and give you guidance, if you know what I mean. But if it's not done, the light will never enter. You see what I mean? Not that the light don't want to enter, you know. But the light will not enter due to the behavior of the being. You see what I mean? Because we are the one with the choice. The light cannot just come and clean up your mind or stop whatever you are doing wrong. You must stop that. When you stop that, yeah, the light will enter. And then, like I'm saying, you can be full of light like how the moon become full moon. When it's receiving the light from that one. Because there's no way the mind can generate light itself. Because it have no light. It's a receiver. You see what I mean? And you are receiving it from the one who is beyond the mind. Beyond duality. Call that one the terrible and dreadful overlord himself. Rastafari. You see what I mean? As a 9th grade general, I know that one personally, so that's why I'm saying I just teach about that one. The one that is beyond. But because I'm doing it in a common sense way, when I'm saying that the one is beyond, the one is in every human being. So it's not beyond human being understanding of this one that is within themselves. We call this one conscience as well. Yeah, everyone can relate to that on a common sense level, you know. That when you do wrong and you feel guilty, that is what we call a conscience. That is the one that is within the master himself. That is everywhere. In what you want to call male or female. Irrelevant. Everything is in duality. So even like I'm saying, a man is a duality of the male and female principle. Just like the female is a duality of the female and male principle. Obviously they don't know this on this crude level, so they just teach them about one side and imbalance them, if you know what I mean. Like they just teach the female, or what we call the female, about the female principle. At the female side, but not her male side, so that imbalance her. And then teach the male about his male side, but not the female, so that you see what I mean? They don't learn balance. And one think one is superior, and that crude level down here now, the male principle is the dominant principle over the female. I say just on the fact that they're more muscular and stronger than physically. Not knowing that we're not physical, so they're using the body to dominate. You know, out of ignorance, what they're really doing when you're dominating the woman is dominating a part of your own being. Or it's because you don't understand yourself. Which if you had listened to common sense, you would have risen to the level where you could overs the truth properly. You see what I mean? When you have if you use common sense anyway, there could be no life without male and female. So what would be the point of the man saying, oh, I'm superior to you? Or the female saying, I'm superior to you? It doesn't make any sense, because the two of we have to cooperate and produce life, and we can't. None of us can do it on our own. So it's like say if we was half one, you know, we must go together as one. Together we make one. You see what I mean? None can't be better than none. So there's no need, like on the 9th level, like I'm saying, for one to be thinking whether it's the male who is superior or the female, you know. 9th level don't care about whether you is male or female. 9th level doesn't care about whether you want to live honestly and truthfully, and any being can do that still differently. You know, it's not a gender thing, say, oh, you have to be a man to live right, because it's a choice thing, you know? And common sense is not just with man. Common sense run like I tell you, common sense is a versatile mover, you know, within beings then, you know, see. Cross-border terrorists. So common sense is with the male and the female differently. So any one of them can imply common sense at any given time. And once you operate in common sense, like I'm saying, your eyes are going to be open. It's just like training, innit? Once you start to train, I say eventually you will get fit. Doing what is right is just the same thing. Keep on doing it and eventually you just get fit. When you are mentally fit, then you are able to understand. You see what I mean? And able to know, rather than, like I say, believe. I rely on religion and holy books and these kind of things. Because you will not know the real truth this way. You know? To believe in anything will not teach you the real truth. Because to know the real truth, you have to live it. You have to live honestly. Your intention got to be right. You know what I mean? You have to be able, like I say, to see totally that we are one. If you are thinking in any way like what I call tribal, black and white, and you know, you're not yet reached the level of understanding to see through this ignorance that is going on here. Your mind is still confused. You see what I mean? I'm telling you that we are a spirit, and the same one spirit is in all these different bodies. The same, you know. And you could say spirit was like I say, water. This water, all this water has done as immerse itself into different bodies, different forms. Seen from the outside, because we see the body and can't see the water now, we start to think that this water is of a different one from that one. That one is black and that one is white, and all that is backward and idiotic thinking, like I'm saying. But this is how we live. Still. You see what I mean? In this, I don't know how long this backward state has been going on anyway. Centuries and centuries, I suppose. And it's still going on, because it's not as if the majority of mankind has broken out of that first level that I'm telling you about, where the mind is at its crudest. The majority of mankind is still there. In fact, they are returning there rapidly. Like returning, reinforcing themselves in there, down there more forcefully now. The more they think they are developed and advanced. Advancing idiocy and keeping themselves in ignorance. You see what I mean? Not in any spiritual development. And as I'm saying, if you come here and you don't gain any spiritual development, like I'm saying, it's like you are going home then and you never, what you plant, what you going to reap? Because what you did here, you know, that's what you're going to reap, you know. Do that again. I know the people don't believe in these kind of things, but this is nothing to believe in. These are just laws within the universe. That whatever you do that is wrong, you have to pay for it. It doesn't matter how many years ago you did it, you know. But you have to, especially, and you never make any correction. Differently if a man did wrong, you know. Say a man did some wrong and then eventually in his life he made correction. Well, all the wrongs are forgotten. But you who have never made no correction and had no intention to make none, you will have to pay for these actions. Like I'm telling you, who cares if you are president and pope and all them kind of things? You can only pretend while you are here. Like I would say to men who like say all the pope, who is a great pretender. Yeah, you carry on pretending. Many pretend before you. Yeah, but you carry on pretending because you can only do it here. And you can only fool your fellow men. But your fellow men is not the power and they're not the law. You know what I mean? So you carry on. Because the law is going to get you as well. You know, see? Soon as Mr. Dead come for you, that's your little game that you've been masquerading here. That's finished for you. Another one of your little goons who like to hide in darkness will have to take over the role. You know what I mean? But all who take over those roles, eventually they must pay for this. You know? Because they're not doing anything just and right. You see what I mean? Those who organize and run religion in its outward form. Like I say, if there's any innocent people in religion, must be amongst the gullible flock. But in the hierarchy, these devils know what they're doing. The sickos, you know what I mean? No wonder they always find pedophile and all kind of people amongst them. Because it's not genuine, is it? It's not based on honesty. Because if it was, it wouldn't be organized. There wouldn't be no ritual going on. You see what I mean? People would come together, if anything, and talk about honesty and how to live and this and that. They wouldn't have to perform no stupid ritual and go on. But these goons who don't know, believers, yeah, they will do all these kind of things to deceive. But for how long? Like I'm saying, because you can't get away with nothing, is it? So to a man of common sense, all that is just stupidity. You know? No way for where a developed soul wouldn't behave that kind of way anyway still. You see what I mean? When you know what is right, you simply speak what is right, in a way that is helpful to other human beings. You know, so it's like I know then, what is helpful to human beings is for us to change our ways. Now, I don't have to tell anyone what is wrong within their life, because they're not stupid. They have common sense, so if they are doing anything wrong, they know what it is that they are doing wrong. No matter how secret the wrong is that they are doing. Even if no other soul know about it, they do. So what we're saying then, until we change this behavior of doing what we know is wrong, we will remain blind. Because the action of doing what is wrong is what blinds us in the first place under the law. You see what I mean? It's a natural law. The wrong you do blinds you. It's like a punishment straight away in this atmosphere. If you want to open your eye, you have to learn to stop doing the wrong and do what is right. But sincerely though, you know, not in a pretend way where people can see you, because people are not important. It's the one within that's seeing you. And if you are not sincere, the road won't be open to you then. It's like closed. You seal within the mind. You don't know progression. Only honesty. Honesty is the key. Opens all internal door, you know what I mean? Sincerity within one's search, within oneself. Because don't forget, like I say, no use pretending to be people to be sincere. It's not. It is the one that must see your sincerity for you to progress. if you know what I mean. It's like I know some people, I mentioned this briefly here in this reasoning. Because a daughter actually texts me and say, oh, it's something like, oh, you speak a lot of common sense, but speak a lot of, how does she put it, profanity. That's the word for it, profanity. They just swearing, just cursing me. You know what I mean? So it seems like now to me, which I know this already anyway, because I've encountered a few people who seems to get offended if they hear any swear word, as it was, you know. But a word, or what they call swear, what we call swearing then, it is only offensive when you have negative intention behind the word. When you say the word, how you use it. Because everything, like I say, in the atmosphere is positive and negative. So any word can be used in a positive way. You see what I mean? Or a negative way. You see what I mean? So when you say swearing, it's like, I know people would literally think to themselves, well, if you're a man of God, you can't swear then. You know what I mean? But what's swearing got to do with anything anyway? And it baffles me how it's because put it this way then anyway. Because I'm a common man then, living in a common situation. Because don't forget, you know, I am not one of you refined human being who's been to your past school and, you know, and living in your middle class or your upper middle class or whatever class. I am a lower man here down from the street level then, where low people live. And on this street low level here, where, you know, ghetto man style as we call it, low level estate style, people use swear words. Profanity or what you want to call it. If you work in factories and such, you know, there's a lot of effing and blinding and, you know, a little Jamaican with a lot of bumbo rasclat and all these kind of thing. You know what I mean? Now, when these people use these languages, they don't actually, in most of the cases, is not using it in an offensive way either. It's just the everyday banter that they use. You see what I mean? So even me then, in my reasoning, when I'm reasoning with these common people that I live amongst, because I'm one of them, use some of these profanity and swear words to explain away what I'm trying to explain as well. You see what I mean? It's no use me going around pretending that I wouldn't swear, because I don't find anything wrong with swearing when it's done in the appropriate manner. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I'm going to go around swearing all the time, you know, and swear in any company. You know what I mean? If there's some elderly people around who I know who is not, don't use those language, I just wouldn't just start swearing, you know? Just like I might not agree with what church people are doing, but I wouldn't go in the church swearing, if you know what I mean. But in the right setting and to explain or to, you know, put what I call fire into what I'm saying. Yeah, sometimes we like to use some swear words, but don't have to swear all the time, just to explain what is right and what is truthful and what is honest. And if someone was trying their best then to explain what was truthful and what was right and what was honest, and in doing so they swear a couple of times or a few times, what would be the problem? The swearing is not stabbing or robbing you or killing you. You know what I mean? So forget about, I've been swearing from a youth, I say. Thinking about it, look like I was trained to swear, you know. So it was another thing to use later on in life, you know what I mean? But I don't think, in a reason then, that one should, like as an example, say focus on the swearing, instead of listening to the instruction of what is being said. That's just another diversion, you know what I mean? Instead of you listening, because what I'm saying is quite simple, you know. You could just say it in a couple of words. Say, listen, stop doing wrong and do what is right, so that your eyes open and you see. And that's the lesson, finish. You see what I mean? But you have to try so many other different angles to explain, because of the people who are on this level. You see what I mean? And you're not reasoning, you know, or I'm not reasoning with people who are awake. You don't understand? I'm reasoning with people who are not awake. So the reason have to be put in many different style, hoping that one of this style might wake somebody up, or one of them up, if you know what I mean. If I was reasoning with people who was awake, I wouldn't have to be saying most of what I'm saying, because they would already know that, innit? I wouldn't have to be saying nothing. I could just chill back, because people would have known. See what I mean? But I'm trying to reason with people who are not aware of themselves yet, as it was. I'm trying to wake those who are asleep. I shine a light for those who are awake, but let them see a bit further then. You see what I mean? Because up in 9th house, we are at the zenith. You see, so we can shine a light for everyone, even those who have light already. You see what I mean? The light of firehouse, fire everywhere, over everything. Even the lights that are, like I'm telling you, the lights that are shining already. You see what I mean? Firehouse shine beyond those lights. Because when you reach the 9th level, the one return and the one is the superior light. You see what I mean? So that's why I say, when you reach firehouse, you teach anyone in creation. Not only on earth, anywhere. Any groups. You see? No matter what light beings they are, what planet and what dimension they want to come from. That's all irrelevant. Because the truth is one. Knowledge is not one, you know. So like I say, as an example, you can have, here on earth we have certain knowledge. Just say there was some aliens from another planet. They might have a superior knowledge to the knowledge that we have here on earth. But they can't have a superior wisdom. Because wisdom is one everywhere. You see what I mean? It's knowledge that varies. So the one teaching that I'm teaching here is the teaching of the universe, anywhere in it. You see what I mean? And there ain't no, like I tell you, there ain't no chance of any soul anywhere in it out teaching a 9th grade general. Because to do it, you would have to out teach yourself, and you can't do it. You see what I mean? When I say out teach yourself, you know, don't forget what I tell you, right? Who the self is. Don't think the self is you when I say yourself. We are here in the mind. Those who on the crew level, they are trapped. When you break out of the mind and you rise to the 9th level, you can see the one who give light to the mind. The one is the self. You know so what I say? Know thyself. I don't mean know your personality. The self is the one. Now this one is dwelling in all human beings who has ever moved. You've heard that saying before, man know thyself. I like to say, man and woman know thyself. Well, when you know, call yourself is myself as well, you know, and the neck and everyone's self. The superior one. So when you know this one now, this is when you're going to know the truth. You see? In the 9th level, we are just revealing this one fully. Because I know the one, I've encountered the one. That's why I can teach about the one, innit? If I never know the one personally or encounter the one, then I couldn't be saying what I'm saying, innit? Because I wouldn't know it. The very fact that the words are coming out of my mouth about this one is because I know. You see, it's not I'm not here saying, oh, I believe this one dwell within, and I know because I've seen the one. Because that's what happens when you get born on the 9th level. You see what I mean? You don't feel or hear the one, which you can do, and all the feeling and hearing is genuine. You actually see the one. So that there is no doubt about it. There are trillion, zillion, quillion, billion % certain, I'm sure. If you know what well I am anyway. And a lot more zillion, billion on top of that. Certain. You see what I mean? that this one, well, the one is my teacher, because how would I know what I know if this one never teach I? You see what I mean? So that's how I know the one. That's how I say I can be a dummy and yet know what I know still. But what I know is no big deal, because anyone can know it. Because the same thing is in the meaning. It's not like how this thing is a private thing to an individual. Like I say, coming back onto the master of the 9th level, common sense. Common sense is not a property of mine. I don't own it. It's with everyone. Anyone can apply it at any given time. Choice is not mine. It's open to all beings. So anyone can choose to live honestly. It's not the prerogative of one man, you know what I mean? And anyone who chooses to live honestly find these things out for themselves. They don't have to believe these things, they come to know them. So when we're talking about God then, God is just a word to express that there is a superior intelligence. Yeah? Does this superior intelligence exist? Yes. But this superior intelligence is not up in any heaven. It's right there within yourself. When I say it's within yourself, you have to imagine yourself like a miniature universe, you know, space. Yeah, well, the one is in that space within. Just like how the sun is shining out there. So is this one still within, shining within his light, just the same. But what I say now, the actions or our action can create a cloud. You see, like how cloud can cover the sun so that sometimes you don't see the light. Well, our behavior create a cloud between us and this light that is within. So sometimes maybe that's why it's so hard for people to hear or see the light that is within themselves then. Because this will not happen until they clear up this cloud. And the only thing that clear up this cloud is correction to one action in life then. You see what I mean? Failure to do this, that means it ain't going to happen, you ain't going to see this one. I know that this one exists. You know, so you will never, like I say, encounter the supreme intelligence as it was. Because after when you encounter the one, you have to agree that supreme intelligence exists. Because how could a one dwell in all that who is living now, all who lived before, and all who will live in the future? And have a record in them, memory record in all the deeds. If you know what I mean. And how could people appear to be visible when they are invisible? And get themselves into so much confusion that they don't know who they are, thinking themselves to be black and white and green and blue. You see what I mean? But these things happen. But they're not true. And you don't find out that they're not true, like I say, until you've made a choice or a decision to cease your negative behavior on this first, what I call crude level of the mind, where you can be a genius, like I say, you know, one great sports star and, you know, rock star, movie star, and genius of engineer and space and and, you know, great lover and all them kind. All that can be done on that crude level. Or you, no rising up to to see no intelligence beyond that crude level. You die on that level. Which I say most of mankind die on that level still, differently, you know. Because all believers are on that level still. Sealed within the mind, you know, of ignorance. And the crudest level. Because you can't get released until you let go of belief in whatever idiotic form of outward form of religion you're dealing with. You could stay in your religion still, but you'd have to move to the inward part of it. Because like I tell you, every religion have an inward part. And when you move to the inward will reveal the oneness to you. So you wouldn't really have to change from whatever religion you are doing. You could still say that you are whatever. You know what I mean? It's like I've heard man say there was Rasta. No, them not Rasta, them are Christian. There was never Rasta in the first place. You don't understand? They was just believing in something. They never knew anything about Rasta. Because once he's a Rasta eternally, forever and ever. How could I say that I'm a Rasta and next year I'm going to say I'm a Rasta 100 years from now, or a billion or a trillion years from now? No. I have to come out of existence for I not to be a Rasta. But for I rise up and know myself as a Rasta, of course I'm going to be a Rasta into eternity. No change, how if you go change? You know what I mean? Or if you go think next week that no, I'm not a Rasta, I'm going to be a Christian. So you can see those people weren't sure about what they was doing. They might have just like the hairstyle or what they see, because they are following the outer form of what they think is Rasta, which is not right anyway. At least they had the nerve in the end to admit that and run away. But still jump into something that they still don't understand, claiming to be a Christian or a Muslim or something, you know what I mean? But in reality, if you was a Rasta then, I say it's a Rasta forever, innit? But I see that as when you're certain about what you're dealing with, yourself, rather than what a group of people is dealing, or what a group of people tell you. You see what I mean? I don't think them say 7 billion people on the planet. Well, the 7 billion of them couldn't tell I and I what to do or how to think. The 7 billion of them couldn't come and show me this book and say them God revealed it. I wouldn't be interested. You see what I mean? Because I'm following the way of common sense. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't forget, I'm not just going on my own whim, I'm implying the services, I am a man who don't follow my own whim, I always imply the service like I say of humbleness, common sense, Mr. Simpleton, funny, fearless, willpower, enthusiasm. All those disciples help I and I out greatly, see. Anywhere at all I go. And definitely ain't going nowhere without common sense, like I say. Because it was common sense who recruit all the others. You see? So when I'm counseling then, I counsel through common sense. The reason why I prefer to counsel through common sense, because if you speak in a common sense kind of way, everybody can at least make out what you're saying, if you know what I mean. Because it's simple, innit? It's not nothing difficult, it's not no hard training where you have to go and shut your eye for 10 hours and look and sit under a tree and try maybe eat this or eat that. It's nothing to do with that. It's about knowing the faults that you have within you, which you do already in your wrongs, and stopping it. And that's what open up your eyes. Nothing complicated about that whatsoever. But it seems to be one of the hardest things for human to put into practice. You see, but unless it's put into practice, you are staying on this level here where people's mind, like I tell you, see in different groups. Us and them. Black and white, Jew and Arab, and all the different tribalism that the people live on when you're on the crude level. Because you still live on earth in tribes, in different countries, and they're still reinforcing patriotism in your separatism. That's what your flag and nationalism is. A way of enforcing separation and division and ignorance into the mind of those souls who hold on to such things. But they do it gladly as well. They're proud of it. You want to see them, like I say, I like to laugh to me. Say, well, not me, funny, like to laugh anyway. Say, we'll be here sitting and funny. Say, hey, look at that. These Americans, the British are doing it as well, wearing a little flag on the jacket. And they say, look at that idiot. Showing how proud he is to be a fool. You know? With this flag. Or if they're giving any speech or anything, they're surrounded by all flags and things. Just to show you that their mind is backward to the fullest. But obviously those who are looking at this presentation get carried away by the glitter and the photography and think that something important is going on. But from a spiritual point of view, nothing important is going on. More than idiots behaving in a way which eventually they'll have to pay for their own ignorance. You know what I mean? I am just, like I say, speaking, hoping to awake a few of the brothers from out of the ignorance. Because at the end of the day, whether a man is in or out of ignorance, we are all brothers and sisters coming from the same source, same creative energy. You see what I mean? So, if one know better, one should show better. As an example, you know? So since as I know better, then I have found out better, I am trying my very best before death come and remove me, to open the eyes of my fellow human beings. You know, those whose eyes are closed to the reality. You know, instead of them have to go and suffer the consequences of what they are doing here. You know, at least you can make them aware that there is consequences to action, and that we should be careful of the way that we live. You know what I mean? I know that we are in a stage now where people say, oh, there is no God exists, you know what I mean? But I'm sure I can reassure you that God exists. But don't worry, God is not a judge or anything like that, you know. He's going to dish out terrible punishment on your head. The punishment that you receive is what you yourself desire, what you sow. It's another law thing again. One reap what one sow. And I say, you have time enough, you know, to commit wrongdoing within life and correct the wrongdoing as well. Because we can learn from our negativity. You know what I mean? But to live a life just doing negativity, we can't learn from a life like that. But to do negativity and correct negativity, yes, of course, one can learn and develop and grow. You see what I mean? Instead of, like I'm saying, just residing on the first level of the mind, the crudest level, where you find division and separation and racism, sexism, and all manner of perverted behavior going on, and you know, that level of the mind is sick. Well, really and truly, from the time, I don't know how long life has been going on, but man should have, as a whole, life as a whole, beings as a whole, should by now, the mind as a whole should have arisen from this crude level that it's still functioning. You know, real backward and well, I understand how for tough. Look how long. I say 1,000 a year, I can't calculate how long man has been on earth. But the mind as a whole still hasn't arisen. You must think, like I say, you're forward because you have mobile phone and computer and thing, you know what I mean? It look like man is more backward now than in previous generation, if anything. So instead of going forward, he's regress into more further and further ignorance, and has crowded up the lower levels of the mind rather than be climbing up into the higher levels of the mind as it was. You know what I mean? So that you can see and understand and know that there is meaning in life. Know that you are an eternal spirit that can never die, live forever, you know. That's the movements of the spirit. But how you live still, you know, and how we're going to survive after we leave here is up to you. Because you are the one, like I'm saying, sowing the seeds that you shall eventually reap. You know, I am trying to tell you to use your common sense. You know, you don't have to follow me, listen to me, I listen to our next man. Because at the end of the day, we are not your common sense. You have common sense. You know what common sense is. So if anything, you are the one who is supposed to use your common sense to release yourself from outer darkness. Well, anyway, here what I and I is going to do, because I've been rapping for a long time now and my mouth is getting a little bit dry, see? I and I is going to reel out and fade out from the firehouse and see you on another reason where we shall be burning some more at the fire, see? Rastafari, live it and reign it in the heart of all human beings. Fire out and fade out.